Hi guys, welcome to Mediocre Parenting Tips for a Pandemic. I cleaned my house so much today that I can't even find my prop anymore, but thank you for joining us. It is Sunday, March 29th, I believe. Day 17 of self-isolation. I spent the weekend cleaning like a crazy person. Like, I'm a person that hasn't cleaned their house voluntarily for like 20 years. I've often said I'd rather go without food than go without my cleaning lady. But you know, needs must, and so I'm doing it myself, and I'm really into it. I bought this steam mop, which I'm gonna try not to talk too much about, but it's a very exciting purchase for me. So I've been cooking, cleaning. I made brownie pudding, I made pork roast, I made mashed potatoes for like the fourth time in 2 weeks. I don't even like mashed potatoes that much. I'm essentially starting a, hold on, I'm messing with something. I'm gonna show you it. I'm growing lettuce. That's right, from hacked up romaine hearts. You keep the bottom and you put it in just water. It's just in water in a sunny window, and in 2 days, it's grown like that much. We're essentially self-sufficient, man. We're gonna be able to ride this thing out forever. Ha 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 ha. Speaking of riding this thing out forever, I was reviewing my Amazon purchases recently, and I realized that this week I've bought a teepee for Avery that she now basically lives in my room with her electronics. She has a tablet and a computer and sometimes my phone in there, and she has them all plugged in. It's like a command center. I'm sure I'm gonna live to regret that, but here you go. Tylenol, Advil, allergy medicine, Mucinex, and also a pulse oximeter. And I don't know how to use a pulse oximeter, but I read an article about a whole family of people that got COVID-19, and the doctor said that they had to check something on their pulse oximeter before they would go to the hospital. And I bought one before I was even done with the article. So now I have one. It's pink. Oh, where is it? And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, oh my God, Kara, you're engaging in magical thinking. That like, if you're prepared enough and you know enough about the thing you're scared of, that it can't happen to you. But that's not true. And I know you're right. And I believe you. But it's pink. It has its own case. We check our pulse all the time now. And also, I realized that I've been surreptitiously taking Avery's temperature all the time. Well, we had the flu right before all this broke out. The real flu we got tested, it was Flu B, the last week of February. And at that time she hates being sick. So I did start like touching her forehead all the time and pretending that I was doing something else. And she would be like, stop taking my temperature. I'm fine. I want to go to school. But now I still do it. Every time I get near her, I act like, do the little side hug, but I put my hand on her forehead, and she's like, I'm not sick. Why are you doing that? Stop touching me. And I'm like, nothing. There's nothing weird. There's nothing weird about this. But us being stuck in the house for 17 days that I'm slowly filling up with medical equipment that I don't know how to use, and now I take her temperature every 5 minutes. What? There's nothing weird about that. But I think there is something weird about it because this afternoon she was up in her teepee in my room. And she sneezed, and before I even said anything, she goes, it's allergy season, Mom. I'm allergic to pollen. So this could be the video where we all have to come to terms with the fact that my child knows that I'm insane. This is also the video where we have to come to terms with the fact that one other thing I've spent my weekend doing is trying to adjust my really incredibly, unbelievably shitty attitude that I've had for the last 2 weeks. I've been probably the angriest I've ever been in my life. These last 2 weeks, oh no, I've been angrier. But I was angrier at people, like a certain person or circumstance that I could really focus that anger on. And this is more like a free-floating anger that just attaches to things. And as those of us who have been to years and years and years of therapy can tell you, anger, friends, is what we call a secondary emotion. It's usually come from like sadness or pain or primary emotions. And I knew that because I've just been to so much therapy, but I forgot it for the last 2 weeks. And so I've just been angry. Anyone who's crossed me, like questioned my decision making or judgment on anything, and I mean anything, or say posted an opinion I disagree with in the Facebook comments of my hometown newspaper, or I don't know, anything that has thwarted my will in any way, shape, or form. With the exception of Avery. I have been patient with her. I've just been like furious. I mean, like heart pounding, have to go cry in the backyard, like hand shaking, furious. And that is not productive. You know, could a person who was that angry have made these grow with some earth magic that I apparently didn't even know I had? No. Would a person who was furious be able to calmly administer a pulse ox, or whatever the fuck this is, in a crisis? No. And so I cannot be an angry person. Oh, would an angry person have a phone case that sparkles like this? No. It's off-brand for me. So I'm not going to do it anymore. I'm not going to be angry. I'm going to be stoic. Shout out to my friend who suggested that I take a course on stoicism. And I'm going to be cheerful. And I'm going to be just like Ma Ingalls would be in this situation. Not the situation where she almost cut her leg off because it hurt and she panicked a little bit. That's definitely in my wheelhouse. But the situation where they just like endured. And whenever terrible things happen, like the long winter and they had no grain, Christmas, and they gave the girls 3 pieces of parched corn and like a nickel or some shit that Mr. Edwards, the weird guy next door, came up with, when, as we now know, they had to leave the town in the middle of the night because of Pa's gambling debts. What did Ma do? She just packed that shit up and she was like, look, I have a China shepherdess. And she did not complain about it. No, she didn't. And so your pal Cara Foreign is going to try mightily to stop complaining too. And I'm also going to, I'm going to try. I'm never going to entirely stop complaining because that is on brand for me. That is sort of who I am. We also rehung all the art in our house today, which is interesting because now every time I look around, I'm confused and startled by what's around me. And it's made me realize that I think we're all going to be a bunch of weirdos when this quarantine is over. Like, we have been so stuck in this house. The other day, we were on a bike ride where no one else is around, just in my very quiet little neighborhood. And we stopped for a second to drink some water, and Avery came up kind of in my peripheral vision on my side, and I jumped like 16 feet. She's like, what are you doing? And I was like, oh, nothing. You just startled me. But the truth is, my initial reaction was, holy shit, someone's within 6 feet of me. I'm going to have to kill them or we're going to die. I just had to get away from them. Like, can you imagine being in an elevator with people at work? When are you going to feel good about that again? Do you know all the surfaces I'd have to touch to get to my cube from my house? Like, when are we going to feel good about that again? But see, that's something that the angry, upset, crying Cara of last week would have worried about. This week's Cara is going to skip right over it and move on to, I'd like to make another parody song about the epidemic. Here's the ones I'm currently running through. You heard the Moana one, right? I've been obsessing about my larder, socially distant with my daughter, ever since this broke out. A little too lyrical for me. I'm not much of a singer. If I had an accompanier, someone who played the piano, I tried. So my other ones are, I thought maybe like Glycerine, but about quarantine, except I don't really know that song that well, and I forgot to look it up, so not much more to say about that. Then I thought, my Corona, but I do not fucking have Corona, and God willing, that's me knocking on wood, I'm not gonna get it. And then I thought, oh, I think this one has legs. It's, come listen to a story about COVID-19. Son of a bitch put us all in quarantine. Next thing you know, nearly kept his family fed. And then one day, I ran out of TP. And next thing you know, I'm going to have to work on it. But I think that's right. The beginning part's good anyway, isn't it? Okay. I'm going to keep this short. The last one got super long, and this one's long too. But leave me a comment. Tell me that you love me. I'm very lonely and very needy, and I basically live and die with other people's attention and adoration, and I'm just really in touch with that now. So peace out. Wash your hands.